The Seattle Seahawks open up at 7.5. They finished the season last year 9-8. Mike Macdonald is taken over as head coach. Biggest loss this offseason has to be Bobby Wagner. I'm going to kick it to you first and tell me what you think about this bunch of Hawks.
You said 9-8 last year. God, it felt worse than that. A lot of people wonder why Pete Carroll got fired. Pete Carroll was a defensive guy, and this defense has been bad for a long time. We talked about that in a previous episode. I think Mike Macdonald immediately makes that unit better. The vibes from training camp talk about how different it is, how physical it is. Almost like he wants them to have fights and scuffle. He wants these guys to be mean. We saw what he did with the Baltimore defense. I think he's going to elevate the defense. I think they're going to be good. Devon Witherspoon was my favorite player coming out of the draft, the year they drafted him. The question about the Seahawks is the offensive line. I know a lot of people talk about Geno. When Geno has time to throw, he is good. He is solid. They faced a terrible pressure rate. It gets overlooked because they were kind of surviving it. They got pressured the same way the Giants got pressured, like percentage-wise. It was terrible. So I don't know if the offensive line improves and is able to protect him. To me, that's where it comes down to. I don't feel confident about the offensive line. This is one of those teams that has some really good pieces, but has some really bad weak spots too. I don't know how it all gels together. I think Mike Macdonald is a solid hire. I think the defense will take a step up. I'm just kind of skeptical on if the offense can take a step up or not. And I really believed in the team last year, so I've got to just cover my bases at this point and take the under. Wouldn't be shocked. I mean, they won 9 games last year. Yeah, they could do that again, but somebody's got to go under, so I say they win 7.
I'm almost right there with you. I may give them the nod on 8. But look, they've obviously losing Bobby Wagner is a big, I mean, even just for the leadership that Bobby Wagner brought to the team is a big loss. But they did do a good job, like you said. Jerome Baker, Leonard Williams, Tyrell Dotson, like they've added some really good pieces to this defense. And
they drafted my favorite player in the draft this year, Byron Murphy, the D tackle, who is I think he's going to be a dog.
Right. So, no doubt. Which, by the way, the defense finished 14th overall, according to PFF. So
they were worse. They were way worse than that if you look at the actual statistics. They were bad.
Right. But there's no way it can't take a step up, I believe. Like, I don't think Bobby Wagner is that much of an impact where you replace him with all these guys and it doesn't take a step forward. So the defense steps up. And I honestly think that really what we're going to be talking about all season long, like we did last year, is Geno. It's what is Ryan Grubb? Is that his name? I think the offensive coordinator. What is he going to be able to extract out of Geno at his age? Is he going to be able to get an on-fire Geno like we saw 2 years ago? Or is it going to be kind of a repeat where we see regression? I would hate to see an even more regressed Geno Smith compared to last season.
Yeah, but he was running for his life. Like, I don't put a lot on him. He was in a tough spot.
Maybe, but also I'm seeing Bo Nix under a lot of pressure, and he's making throws too. Just want to say that. So when we talk about quarterbacks, they got to be able to throw under pressure. I understand he was running for his life, but one thing I will point out is this receiving core. I'm not going to say it's overlooked, but it's actually a really good receiving core, especially with Jackson Smith and Jigba.
If they can figure out how to use him, because they were wasting him last year.
I think this season I hope he's going to step in to his role and become like probably the number 2 guy. I think he could take over for Lockett. Lockett is getting up there in age. DK Metcalf is still going to be DK Metcalf because he's a monster. I think they have a really good shot at having a really good offensive team this year. And, if
even
the defense can do
it. That's the thing. Like, you're not worried about that? Because I just don't know if I see it.
Yes. To say I'm not worried about it is
I got you.
It's going to be rough, but I think that they have enough weapons offensively if they play it smart. I feel like their game plan last season relied on Geno Smith being able to have time to throw the ball. This season, they have to reorientate everything and try to kind of maybe go under that mentality of like the Dolphins, like how Tua is able to get the ball out so fast. They may have to start relying on that to get Geno some time and hopefully get these receivers open.
I kind of agree with you, and I also think you talk about this sometimes, the balance of the two sides of the ball. if the defense is better, then the offense won't be pressured to be putting up 20 and 30 points. If the defense can, cut teams down, hold teams under 20 points, and deliver a Mike Macdonald defense, well, then even if the offensive line is, rough, then they only need 20 points to win. The problem is the defense was awful last year and the offense was bad. So the defensive elevation helps the offense naturally. Are you going under?
I was hoping you would just go past that and not even ask me.
You got to pick.
I'm going to go over. Are you going under? You said you had him at 7, right?
Yeah, just because I believed in them last year, so I'm being petty.
And I don't think I believed in him as much last year. So this year's my year to believe in the Seahawks. So I'm going to go 8 wins here, which puts me over. So that's kind of where I have the Seahawks.